Welcome to Street Smart Spirituality with your hosts, Barry and Cole, where each week we will be discussing diverse topics of spirituality, including the right use of will, A Course of Love, A Course in Miracles, The Way of Mastery, and much more. Join us on a global spiritual adventure with Cole in Australia and Barry in the U.S. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of Street Smart Spirituality. This week's episode is on A Course of Love by First Receiver Marie Perron. And, of course, my partner in crime down in Byron Bay, Australia, Cole, is here to join us. Say hello, Cole.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. All right, so we talked about this a couple of times. I mean, Cole and I both really love this book and the messages that it conveys, and a lot of people, after we mentioned it on one of our other podcasts, said, go into it a little bit more. So that's what we're going to do. We're not even going to be able to touch the surface of it, but at least we'll give you an idea, and if that resonates with you at all, go get the book yourself or the PDF and begin your journey yourself. So I'm going to briefly just go over the table of contents. It's not like A Course in Miracles or The Way of Mastery, where it's actually set up lesson by lesson. They're set up as chapters. Of course, you could take them as lessons if you wanted to. There is Book 1, which is A Course of Love. That includes the introduction and the prelude. And then there is 32 chapters, and there's an appendix on that, Learning in the Time of Christ. Then there is Book 2, which is the Treatise of A Course of Love, and that is 10 chapters. There is a second treatise, which has 13 more chapters. There is the third treatise, which has 22 chapters. There is the fourth treatise, which has 13. Then goes into Book 3 again, the Dialogues on the Course of Love. That has 17 chapters. And then we go into the 40 Days and 40 Nights, which obviously has 40 plus an epilogue, and Learning in the Time of Christ. And if you're not familiar, I do have 40 Days and 40 Nights narrated, and they are on the YouTube channel. I have a couple of special chapters that really ring my bell. I think you've all seen the Embrace that I did. It's up tagged at the front page of the YouTube channel. That's one of my favorite. So that'll give you a nice taste of it. But now we're going to probably go over, 2 or 3 different chapters, and Cole's going to share some insight, and we'll give you, by the time we're done, we'll give you a pretty good taste of what the book is about, and you should be able to tell by that whether or not you want to pursue your own study of it. So go ahead, my friend.
Yay. So Course of Love, my God, I bow down. Definitely the masterpiece, like A Course in Miracles is. A friend of mine said the other day that the Course of Love is a primer for Course of Love is a primer for A Course in Miracles. And first I resisted it for a moment, but then I realized, yes, it does give and offers a lot of punchlines. And if your mind is trained, and if you have done A Course in Miracles, you will find that Course of Love will take it and take it way deeper. And then the return to the Course in Miracles will be like, it's almost like you'll hear Course in Miracles from the place in you that the Course in Miracles is directing you to. And then it becomes an exquisite manual of discovering why Jesus narrated the Course in Miracles the way he did, and why he got you to train your mind, and he kind of dips you in dips you right out. So you don't have too much of an experience. Otherwise, you might not be able to handle yourself. Because if you enter into the state of beingness as God created you, it's not like this lovely moment, of quiet. It's like exquisite ecstasy of being, and it does take a little bit of training and getting used to living in a completely different state of being than this world has programmed you to be. So definitely incredibly complementary, these two are, and you read one and the other one becomes more incredible and then you go back to the other one and the other one shows you another aspect of it that is just beyond what you would ever expect to happen. So,
well, we should
I love the prelude. It says
we should.
The prelude. It says, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say. I mean, we should also state at the beginning that you don't have to read them like that. They're each one of these, Course in Miracles, A Course of Love, The Way of Mastery, they all stand alone on an incredibly solid foundation, and
absolutely,
you could literally. Well, you already know this, but you could spend a lifetime studying A Course in Miracles. You could spend a lifetime studying A Course of Love by themselves. They are so layered and so rich in wisdom that so don't feel the need that you have to do A Course in Miracles first, and then Course of Love or Way of Mastery. Find the one that resonates the strongest in your heart, and just do an incredibly deep dive into it, and actually study it until you are actually living it.
Yes.
But you were talking about the prelude.
Do you. Yeah. Yes, it will do you despite you. That's what I like about it. It's like you think you're doing something and you're doing these exercises and I'm doing this, and particularly if you go, oh, this is my favorite lesson, that means you're living in the past. And then that favorite lesson will not be able to show you what's available now. Because this is where the Course of Love takes you. It takes you to the new. The new. And so, for example, lesson 7 in A Course in Miracles says, I see only the past. Lesson 8 says, this is because your mind is preoccupied with your past thinking. And then lesson 9 says, and therefore you see nothing as it is now. Yeah? Why don't I see anything as it is now? Because my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts and I see only the past. So even using that lesson, if you look around and anything your eyes lay on, you have the name of it, you know what it does, you know what happens to you when you drop it. And so you realize that your mind is not in the now or in the new, but it's preoccupied with this past thinking, no matter how enlightened or spiritual as well. Because spiritual concepts are not, it's just a menu. So you don't actually necessarily, eat the fruit and experience the new or the creation as it is now, So, yeah. So the prelude says this beautiful introduction right there. It says, this is A Course in Miracles. Yeah? And we're talking about Course of Love. It is a required course. Yeah? This is exactly how Course in Miracles starts. And then it goes, the time for you to take it is now. You are ready and miracles are needed. I love that. This is like, this is where we're going to take it. We take it now. Because you know how you send this, that guy who says, and now we begin. Yeah.
the guy who says, you mean the guy that wrote Course in Miracles and A Course of Love, that guy?
Yeah, your brother.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, my bro. Okay.
Your brother in in crime, as you call him, from down above.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and so shall we just maybe you read little sections and then we'll see what we can say about it, if there is even a necessity to say anything. I mean, obviously, anything I say is just like a form of reduction.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of good sections in the prelude. So let's just pick a couple from there, and then I'll read them, and then you can comment. And this will just be totally random. We didn't agree on this ahead of time.
Okay.
This is paragraph 6.
Oh.
What is it in you that is capable of learning? What is it in you that recognizes that ego is not what you are? What is it in you that recognizes your spirit? What is it in you that hovers between two worlds, the world of the ego's dominion and that of spirit? What recognizes the difference, the Christ in you?
Bingo. God, you're a good reader. You should be a narrator.
Yeah. Any comments on this one, or should we move on, or what?
Man, isn't that beautiful? Like, what is that? It's the Christ in you. And this is what I found with the Course of Love, because, like I said, I did a Course in Miracles for a long time, did Write Yourself for a long time, and only been doing this for 4 years, Course of Love. But it was already in a chapter 1 that I had such a profound experience that, dropped me into no way of learning anything or no way of doing anything within a week. And I could not even open the book. And then I read the rest of it, and it is a manual. Like, when the Christ is born in you, you will get informed, but you also need to realize, like, when it's born in you, what is it? It's a baby. It's a baby Christ in you. When you realize your own Father, which is, we all pray to Father, and then, you begin to awaken to the mother in you, the feminine part of the creation, which is absolutely essential to any real awakening. Otherwise it turns into a mind-boggling stuff. I nearly said that word. We said we're not going to say. And then when that mother aspect of creation, just the feminine aspect, and then only when you have a mother and a father awaken, then a child is born, and that's the little Christ in you. And when that happened to me, it's just like a little shoot open, and begin to grow within. But it still needs the nurturing, still needs the mother, it needs the father, and it's a slow growth. And the manual, this whole manual we call Course of Love helps you to nurture yourself in this new way of being, which is the Christ in you. And I often have with my clients, they talk about the inner child, right? And it's like that inner child will need a lot of work and will never really grow into anything unless you realize that you need the Father and you need the mother in you. And when those two are born, you will live as Christ and not as this little brat that never gets enough of anything, and no matter what it does, it still needs more of something, and it's always in the need rather than being in this complete state of nothing's lacking. Like, you feel once the Christ in you is born, you come in a place of very little need, like virtually you're fulfilled. So that's
a perfect leeway into this next paragraph 8. The ego is what you made. Christ is what God made.
Right.
The ego is your extension of who you think you are. Christ is God's extension of who He is.
Right.
In order to end the need for learning, you must know who you are and what this means. Where the original Course in Miracles was a course in thought reversal and mind training, a course to point out the insanity of the identity crisis and dislodge the ego's hold, this is a course to establish your identity and to end the reign of the ego. Beautiful.
Great. Yeah. And so that identity is like, the minute I open my mouth, I'll begin to reduce my identity, because perception is not an attribute of God, and its perception is based or a result of separation. So, like, if I drop into Christ in me, it's just the inner radiance, the elevated self of form. The body begins to vibrate, and it begins to ooze. You know, my old saying, if you don't ooze, you lose. So it's like you begin to ooze, and that oozing, it's an intense state of being. It's a real turn on. It's like a full body turn on. So it's not a concept in the mind. And, ego, we will come with more questions and more answers and more questions. The Christ in you is, and to be able to hold it and grow it together into this full Christhood, it takes a tiny little bit of dislodging of what we have been trained and learned to do. So hence a little bit of undoing, but it is so beautifully done that you don't even have to study this course. This is one of the courses you don't actually have to study. It's that does you despite you. So you just read it, and the more you relax, and rather than trying to figure out what it means, allow yourself to go, how does it make you feel? Yeah. It's like if I say, hey, feel the Christ in you. You go, whoa, where is that? What is that? No. Feel the Christ in you. Your mind does not need to know. The Christ in you is there already. It's not like something you're going to get one day. The Christ in you is now. Can you feel it?
All right, let's move on to paragraph 11 from the prelude. What? Did I interrupt something?
Exactly. Yep. Because once you feel the Christ in you, you're like it's like there is not much to say, but because this is a podcast, we go into the, let's say, paragraph 11. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unlike most books where
Yes.
this is a stripping away. It's like buying an old house and going outside and stripping off 8 coats of paint that have been on there for 80 years until you get down to the original wood. That's what this course does. It removes your way of thinking. It removes false indoctrination, and then you finally you see what is there and what has been there the entire time, but it's been under so many layers of garbage. Okay, here's paragraph 11. The further teachings of the original course were designed to turn fear into love. When you think you can only go so far and no further in your acceptance of the teachings of the course and the truth of yourself as God created you, you are abdicating love to fear. You are perhaps making this world a better place, but you are not abolishing it.
Yes.
In your acceptance of doing good works and being a good person, you are accepting ministry to those in hell rather than choosing heaven. You accept what you view as possible and reject what you perceive as impossible. You thus cling to the laws of man and reject the laws of God. You claim your human nature and reject your divine nature.
Wow, that's pretty much self-explanatory, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It says you are perhaps making this world a better place, but you are not abolishing it. And if you go to the next paragraph, it kind of goes further into that.
Okay, this is paragraph 14. O child of God, you have no need to try at all. No need to be burdened or to grow tired and weary. You who want to accomplish much good in the world realize that only you can be accomplished.
Right. Can you pause right there? Mm-hmm. Read that sentence again, because this is it.
You who want to accomplish much good in the world realize that only you can be accomplished.
Yes, I think this is such a key sentence. Only you can be accomplished. You know, we're trying to save the world. We're trying to save this. But really, it's just we are the one who's projecting all this. And when you stop projecting the past onto the future, you remember who you are. Because that action is exactly what engages the ego mind. And so you're the only one who can be accomplished means that when that happens, the world you see will merely not be there. This can be a scary idea, but imagine that none of what you know will be here, gone. Only you can be accomplished. Okay, go on.
You are here to awaken from your slumber. You are here not to awaken to the same world.
Right.
A world that seems a little more sane than before, but still governed by insanity. A world in which it seems possible to help a few others, but certainly not all others, but to awaken to a new world. If all that you see changed within your world is a little less insanity than before, then you have not awakened, but still are caught in the nightmare your ego has made. By choosing to reject yourself, you have chosen to try to make sense of the nightmare, rather than to awaken from it, and this will never work.
Yeah. You could you can hold on to this paragraph for a while. Because if all that you see, and we have awakenings, there are awakenings, many people are awakening, and things are changing. But all that you see has changed within your world. It's a little less insanity, which that's usually the little awakenings that happen, than before, that you have not awakened, but are still caught in a nightmare your ego has made. And there's another shift that completely dislodges anything that is based on a past of any kind. So by choosing to reject yourself, you have chosen to try to make sense of the nightmare rather than awaken from it. And so what usually happens is the world is only reflecting what's held in us, right? If you look at latest presidential debates, and you know what you're still holding in your mind.
Yeah, don't go there.
No, I didn't go there. I was just a passerby, going yep, this is good. Gosh. And yeah, but this is always coming back to well, how does that make me feel? Because the only way this is happening to us is what we are projecting out. And if we condemn that which we have projected, we're nailing that to the cross. And that will continue to be our reality. And then you will see which one it is. And if you really want to have a shift, like a real shift, it's like it says in here, by choosing to reject yourself. You see something outside, And if you condemn it in any way, if you don't see that that's just representing your, your subconscious, you will basically nail it. Or you can stop, pause, and notice, how does that make you feel, and what is your what is your relationship to these feelings? So it's not even what feelings will arise, but how do you relate to it? Are you embracing it? Are you seeing that you're causing this, or are you reject it and then trying to forgive what you see out there? That will never work. That's it. Maybe read the next one as well.
Yeah, I want to interject something here too. I see this
Please.
I see this all the time on comments and stuff. It says, "You are here to awaken from your slumber." The operative words being you and your. You're not responsible for your brother. You're not responsible for your sister's awakening. You're responsible for awakening from your own slumber. And
Yeah.
I see that all the time. People, I can't get my family to follow what I'm following, blah blah blah. And it's not about that. I mean, you can't teach what you don't understand, and you can't give what you don't have to give. So your life, your spiritual journey is a singular journey. I mean, there's one mind, there's one breath, there's one heartbeat. It belongs to the universe, and you're part of that. So focus on yourself, and forget about. Don't forget about it in an apathetic way. Just understand that as you raise yourself, you are raising the family of humanity along with you. So, okay, next chapter or next.
Just go to P15 actually, because it's also really. Oof.
Okay, by rejecting who you are demonstrating that you think you can believe in some of the truth, but not all of it. Many of you have accepted, for instance, that you are more than your body, while retaining your belief in the body. You thus have confused yourself further by accepting that you are two selves, an ego self represented by the body, and a spirit self that represents to you an invisible world in which you can believe but not take part. You thus have placed the ego at odds with spirit, giving the ego an internal and invisible foe to do battle with. This was hardly the purpose of any teachings of the truth that have as their aim the exact opposite of this conflict-inducing situation. The truth unites, it does not divide. The truth invites peace, not conflict.
Yeah.
Partial.
It's like when you have, when you have a war, of any kind, there are usually two parties that fight. The peace comes from when both of them stop. It's not like one wins. No one wins. We stop. You have a conflict, just stop it.
As long as there's duality in anything, there's going to be conflict. It's unavoidable.
That's it. And and that really it's so personal, this whole thing. The minute I see conflict in somewhere, what do? I got to stop my war. I'm warring against something I project to be a war, and now I feel like I need to defend myself. But I am the cause of that which created it. So it's so individual, so personal. Like you can't virtually escape. You see anything anyone doing, the ideas do not leave the source. It's me, and then it's me. There's no one else out there. It's like all these figures are just playing out the screenplay of, playing out the movie of our own screenplay. And until we realize that we are the origins of everything, we are the actual creator, I have the universe, I have to rule. And so how does it look like? What does it look like in there? And once we see the cause, the effect will merely vanish.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on to say the truth invites peace, not conflict.
Yes, exactly.
Partial truth, this is a good one, partial truth is not only impossible, It is damaging.
It is damaging.
For sooner or later in this lopsided battle, the ego will win out. The spirit, as you have defined it, is too amorphous, too lacking in definition and believability to win this battle against what you perceive as your reality.
Yeah.
That's some good shit.
The ego's, it's good shit, man. It's like you'll have an awakening and you'll have one of those, like, I don't know, 3 days or 5 days of like complete oneness, and you think, oh, this will never change, And then day 6, the ego goes like, what did we actually do, that we got here? Remember what we did together? It's like, yeah, I remember. We did this and this and that. And before you know it, the ego's got your awakening, and it's going down. It's very smart. It's incredible how to actually truly become aware of it. One has to be truly ignited in all 4 parts of the self, which is the spirit ignited, the will ignited, the feeling body. The Christ is born, and your elevated self of form, which is your real body, is not the body you think you have. It's a real body. There's the origins. There's a cause of the body, something that causes the body to be, and when you get into that, that's your true resurrected body. And unless these 4 align, you will not even begin to undo this very clever thing called ego. It's very clever. And the Course of Love is just an amazing manual that helps you to dislodge it. And even when you dislodge it, the emotional memory of it and the programming, that the matrix that it kind of comes from, that's all the remaining. If there is anything to do, is to keep watching it and undoing it. So,
well, I mean, the ego has been driving the bus for eons. And if you realized like 5 years ago or 10 years ago that this is something you got to work on, you got to realize that you're fighting a battle that's eons old, and you can't expect some clear resolutions in 2 years. This is going to be a battle that's going to take a while.
Yeah, it's definitely taking a while.
Yeah, taking a while.
Give us another one.
Well, you want to move on to chapter 10 on peace?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good... Now let me address the issue of the peace you have been experiencing, as well as your reactions to this peace. It is so foreign to each of you that you can't quite imagine that it is what you're supposed to be feeling. There is a core of peace at the center of yourself now, and the issues that you choose to deal with will not affect that core of peace at all. While you may find this almost disturbing, you will not go to extremes to break this peace.
Yeah. So, see, the peace is already in you right now. So, let's just do this kind of a little bit. So, can you find that place in you that's peace? Right? So now, once you have it, you got to feel it. Yeah? It's a feeling thing. How does that peace make you feel? So, you get in touch. First, it's just an idea of peace. And next is an experience. And now, as you're feeling it, how it says, addressing this peace, but also addressing reactions to this peace. So you'll be in this peace, and then a thought will creep in. And you go, not now. Not now. I'm doing peace. And just stay there. And really the whole chapter is just, be in peace, go in peace, stay in peace. And anything that seems like a world will trying to and take this away from you. If you could just remain there, you know, and remain there. And it does take a little practice. That's why really meditation shouldn't be just sitting and sitting, but it's like, okay, where is the peace of God within me now? Find it. It's there. It doesn't take long. Ask and you shall receive if you truly ask. Particularly if you're not asking a God of your own making. The result has to be there straight away. If the result is not there, you are asking a God that does not exist. And so you got to find the real deal. And as soon as you find out, the things will immediately manifest. It's not like, you know, you take months to get there. You get there straight away.
And what most people don't understand is it's all a choice. I'm going to continue on here. It says, "My peace is yours.
Is yours.
You have asked for it, and it has been given to you.
When? Now."
To not have it, you will have to choose not to have it, i.e. the choice. It is a choice. You choose. So many people are addicted to being unhappy and frustrated that they don't know what to do. I'm paraphrasing now. I'm not reading from the book, but people are so addicted to negativity and drama in life that if you gave them peace on a platter, they wouldn't know what to do with it. I'll go back.
But you got to watch that right there. You just made a world of people who are not getting it. You got to watch this. This is a really tricky bit, this particular one, because there's really nothing outside you. And this is where we need to be so solid. You know? It's like there's no one to teach. It's like when I go to town, if I'm in peace, I see everyone in the same place that I am in. Now, I could choose to decide that they are not in this peace. But if you really begin to see with true vision, you see everything in a peace. You see everything as where you are. He says it in the first chapter. He says there's the only one thing that he asks you to do. The first instruction is sort of asking everyone to join you in what you are doing. Yeah? And this, you know, I know there's this temptation to try to save the world and help people, but really it's this, if you really keep thinking there's someone out there, you need to heal or you need to help, then that's a delaying maneuver from entering into this place and just staying in it, and staying in it, and staying in it. And incarnate fully. Like, what's an incarnation is you fully incarnating peace. So God, show me the peace you are. And then step back and let it lead the way. It begins to immediately happen in you, demonstrate in you. And then there is no one else out there. And if there is, you see them do that same peace. And that's the true observance. You know, this is when we go to observance and we begin to create a new reality. Because unless you create it in yourself, you know, like we have this idea there is sickness out there, that there is poverty, there is this and there's that. And believing that that is so will create it. Any thought, it's got so much power. It creates reality, you see. So we have to be really, really vigilant that we go, hang, there's no one out there. Anything, me trying to fix somebody is a delaying maneuver. And me going from peace to some kind of war, because I'm warring against, you know, non-peace. Trying to make peace, trying to make love. Yeah? So, I know it's kind of like, hey, just be careful.
Yeah, let me continue on this paragraph. A friend is experiencing feelings on an extreme level, and this will seem to tell you that this friend is really alive. Whether it be joy or sorrow, it will seem real in a way that peace does not.
Yeah.
It will seem so human that a wave of desire to be fully human will wash over you.
Yeah.
You will think that this human who has caught your attention is fully engaged and fully experiencing the moment. You will think that this is what you want. And I say again that it will not matter whether it be joy or sorrow, for you are, or have been, attracted by both for the same reason. The reason of wanting to be fully engaged in the human experience.
Right. This is what happens when people fall in love. They actually have a God experience, but because they're seeing someone else out there, it's like, oh, this is the one. And then it doesn't last for very long. Why? Because you have an experience of wholeness, and then you try to fit it into the world, into the worldly experiences, and it just doesn't fit. Yeah, it does not fit. It's like, my love is infinite. And if I try to fit that somehow into this idea, this world understands as love, I've just put myself into a coffin of love that's going to die on me for sure. It's going to be dug in somewhere. And there's a tombstone, Here he is. So, very tricky, this ego mind thinking that it's actually achieving something.
Well, it's got a PhD in manipulation, and you're still in kindergarten when you're trying to fight it. So, let's move on to paragraph 15. This will end up the chapter on peace. Then we can move on, and we're making pretty good progress. Now your final instruction is here. You who have found peace, live in peace. You have been given the peace of God. Go in peace. Spread peace throughout the land. Go out in peace and love and service to all. For in this going out you come home and bring with you all the brothers and sisters you have brought to peace. Go in peace to love and serve with all your heart. Thus are we one heart, one mind, one unity. Thus we are one in a relationship of love and peace that is our eternal home. Welcome home, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Welcome home.
Yeah.
That's a nice.
That's beautiful, huh? It's like, here we are, joined in unity.
Well, like I said earlier, thus are we one heart, one mind, one unity.
Yes. That's it, and there is nothing else.
No.
Good.
Let's skip around a little bit. Like I said, this book is almost 700 pages long. So, like, we're just barely touching the surface. But let's go to chapter 5, True Representation. Is that a good one?
Yeah, it's a good one. Or any way you open in a book.
Paragraph 14. In this time of Christ, we are not called to recreate the tools of learning, but to allow all that was created to show the way back to self and God to be what it is in truth. This is the return of love to love. This is acceptance of yourself.
It's funny. I just opened the book and they say, Day 2, accept yourself.
40 days and 40 nights?
Yeah. I mean, as you said that, I just like opened the book. It's like, accept yourself. Huh? Wow. It says, acceptance of yourself is acceptance of me, says Jesus. Acceptance of yourself is acceptance of your inheritance. And you know how you were reading that, it's like the creation is already going on. we're just not on it unless we on it. And then how you know you really in creation is that when the new emerges from nothing, yeah, it's completely incomparable to anything you know. This is the most exciting thing. It's like suddenly you find yourself in a state of being that's never even been described anywhere, or you're just in a brand new thing. You can't compare anything to anything. There's no comparison. That's the real peace of God. Because you can be in a peace of, like you go in a quiet place, but unless in that peace, you go so quiet that you jump over the threshold and you drop into creation. It begins to move you. It begins to live you. And you're just in this complete surprise all the time. If there is such a thing as time.
It goes
Anyway.
on. It goes on. This is the answer to the question, what is next? If there is nothing to learn, if coursework is behind you and accomplishment is complete, what then are you to do? You are to create in community, in dialogue, in commitment and togetherness. You are to be the living covenant of the new, which you just reiterated about the new.
Yes, that's it. So that's what we're trying to get to. What paragraph you on?
516.
Okay. Shall we do that?
That's one I just
Oh
did.
yeah, Conan, you just did. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice thing about this book. Also, it's the paragraphs are all numbered. So if you want to study with somebody over the internet or by Zoom and stuff, you can go focus right in on the paragraphs. That's a nice touch.
Yes. And for me, what was very beautiful for a long time was to find, I wanted to set up a group, and that was nice. But what I was beginning to find that the more people, the more conceptual it could get. And so actually ended up pretty much with another one person, just sitting together and reading out loud, or maybe two. And then it was very interesting because sometimes we would invite, somebody new, so like maybe could join us. And as soon as somebody else walked in, it just wasn't the same. It's quite interesting how it all works. And at this point, and I'm not saying this is the rule of any kind, but I find it's incredible to just find one person that really meets with you in this. Like you will be dropped into unity like you have never thought was possible to be with another being. And it's not necessarily that you are going to feel joined together. What I find is that we both dropped in unity and we both begin to discover, like hold each other in this incredible space that unites everything that's in you. And then you of course feel united, but it's not connecting in the bodies somehow. It's connecting in this Christ consciousness. And then a lot gets revealed in a silence. We read and then it drops us into this unity, and then we cease to speak. We even cease to read, because it's about this experience rather than a concept or a meaning. It's once you're in. And that's, to me, where you begins to hear all you need to know from your inner Christ, from your heart. Your heart begins to speak to you in a way it was never allowed to speak before, because the mind would always steal the show. Mind would rush in, begin to define everything, and suddenly that definer goes in the back seat. He will still wait there for you, but it at least goes on the back seat, and then you in a direct union with your own heart. I was like, boom.
Well, you made an excellent point. I mean, as far as sitting together and stuff, and from a metaphysical viewpoint, each individual has a 8-meter Merkava energy field around them. It's like walking around inside one of those blown up bubbles. You've got 8 meter, 24 feet. So when you sit next to somebody, or if you're married and you go to bed with your wife, if your wife goes to bed cranky and then you lay down next to her and you're in her energy field, sooner or later, if she is a dominant energy, you're going to start feeling cranky. So if you've got 5 guys that have been doing this for 6 months, all 6 of your Merkavas are intertwined and you're all fluctuating at the same energy, let's say 111 hertz. And then you've got somebody walking off the street that you've never met that's vibrating at 220 or something like that. She enters your energy field, and that's going to cause discordance up the yin-yang. So that's why it doesn't feel right. So, anytime, plus it goes into what Jesus said, when 2 or more are gathered in my name. He didn't say when 2 or more are on Zoom in my name. There's a big difference. Even though you and I get along so well, there's a vast difference between, you and me sitting next to each other and talking, and you and me, being 2,000 miles apart and talking. There is that energy heart math level that accomplishes, and that's why you're able to go so deep with your men's groups.
Yeah. Yes, and but I do want to bring something up, which is I find really quite amazing. You know how much I talk about the importance of feeling, and been exploring this for a very long time. And what begin to happen, which is quite fascinating, is that because Earth is magnetic, right, and it magnetizes to itself. I mean, it's such a strong magnetism that it holds an ocean stuck to the planet, right? Like it's incredible pull. The magnet in it is incredible. And, it holds the gravity down. What I found that more I allow myself to truly feel, and you go into this radical honesty, you don't hold back anything that's there. Like, how am I really feeling? And when you develop this sense of feeling, what happens as we keep going down and down and down in our body through our feet, let's say, even using our body as such, we begin to connect to this magnetic field that's all around the Earth. And I tell you something, doesn't matter if you're 2,000 or 20,000 miles apart, you begin to have a simultaneous broadcast going on. It takes a little practice, and when both parties drop in, and I'm sure there is a lot of people who are listening right now who know I'm talking about. So you just simply keep going downwards, downwards, downwards. And if I'm in it now, whoever else can connect to it will connect to that same frequency. And then there is, it's like, internet is like a physical manifestation of this ability for us to do this without any connection of devices or like we use it right now. And you begin to feel one with the other person. You will be able to connect, and exactly what that person feels in that given time, you feel too. So instead of translating experiences through dialogue or talking, you'll begin to feel it. Like you will know what they are experiencing, and they will know what you experience, and then you remain in that connection. Like your internet is going on right now. It's connecting you. And so does this. Begins to connect you more and connect you more. And the minute you become more accustomed to it, because it's, as I keep saying, it's not, it's intense. It's like suddenly you're in this electric field. This is like, you're buzzing with the elevation of that communication. Is just profound. Like, God being one with everything that is. So I can't stress, and of course in Ralph stresses it too. And actually, Course in Miracles was teaching us the same thing. It was teaching us how to feel. Some people going like, how can you say that? Course in Miracles seems so not feeling oriented. But he doesn't talk about it. He gets you there. What does he do when he says, repeat the lesson to yourself slowly? Yeah. You repeat word until it begins to manifest as a feeling experience. Each word manifests a feeling experience. Each word. There's no word that does not feel in some way. Creates a quality of feeling. And so when the Course in Miracles says, I don't know, give me any lesson, it's like, I am the light of the world. So first you get in touch with the I. Who? I. Who is that? Oh, you mean me? I am. What? Am. I am. Am. Can you feel emness of the self? Yeah, I am the light. What? The light. And you begin to experience light in you. Yeah? What is all this? This is just allowing feelings to manifest for you the meaning of the words. So the Course in Miracles is nothing but a training in feeling. A mind training is a mind that learns how to recognize the meaning of itself. Yeah. So you begin to experience you as God created you. And once you're in it, you shut up and fly, Not like me here talking shit.
Perfect segue for the next paragraph. This is
say it.
Paragraph 18. What you think imprisons you is also what I am addressing here.
Nice.
Release through death is no longer the answer. Release through life is the answer.
Nice.
Stop
right there.
No.
Go ahead. I'm with you, brother.
I'll read it again. That was good stuff.
Please do. This is loaded.
Yet what you think imprisons you is also what I am addressing here. Release through death is no longer the answer.
Yeah.
Release through life is the answer. Release through resurrection is the answer. You have died to the old. But surely it would seem easier in some ways to have literally died and been released from the prison of the body, the prison of the earth and your immediate environment, the prison of your mind and the thoughts that so confuse you, the prison of past and future and now that isn't changing fast enough to suit the new you whom you have become.
Right. Wow. Then go to 520.
Yeah. What I'm revealing to you here is that what was once a prison may no longer be a prison. If you continue to think of your body as a prison, if you continue to think of your environment, your mind, and time as a prison, how can it exist in perfect harmony with the universe? As you can see, you are now approaching another thought reversal. Fear not that your confusion will last, for with this thought reversal will come your final release.
Yeah, that's it, your final release. Let that be today. Let that not be projected to the future. Yeah?
Amen.
Let this let this happen now. Did we say we're going to read anything else?
I think that was it. We're topping up 60 minutes.
All right.
Did
Maybe
you have any...
why don't you just go to the epilogue? Note on being. That was really the only thing I could read when I had that time of that 40 days initially with this course. This was the only part I could actually read. It was so beautiful to just being reminded over and over and
how deep you want to go
the
on
nature, the note on being.
Yeah, no.
Epilogue. It's a.
Yeah, I know. How deep you want to go into it? How many paragraphs?
Just don't know. Just read.
Okay.
We'll see.
Another section in this book that is really good, and it's in 3 parts. We won't touch on it now, but it is learning in the time of Christ, and that's a real excellent part. So this is the epilogue, a note on being. Mm-hmm. I'll just read, and when Cole wants me to stop, he can throw a beer can at me.
That's what I forgot to buy.
Yeah. Imagine now what it will be like to have nothing left to learn, nothing left to become. The pressure is off. The alchemy has occurred. The coal has become a diamond. A little play on words there, coal, diamond. Imagine being able to forget all ideas of self-improvement. Imagine how much time will be saved by this quest coming to an end. But now what will you do? But what now will you do? What now will you be? Man, that's an incredible statement. I mean, just think about how much time people spend on self-improvement, learning, and if they, realize, everything's within and they'd be lost. They'd be wandering around going, now what do I do?
Mm-hmm. Well, interestingly enough, this is what happened to me not long ago. I got really attracted to this breatharianism,
mm-hmm.
yeah, where you basically stop eating. And also, I know quite a few people who are, let's say, doing the Course in Miracles or having these profound experiences where they go like, wow, I'm so sustained by the love of God that the habit of eating, comes to an end. Because we really are just conditioned to eat. We were told we need to eat. But it's not so. And it was a really quite profound experience for me to come to this place where I didn't need to eat and for a while. And but what was really fascinating about it, that how much time in your life at this point you actually have to focus on eating, So to eat, you have to have money, you have to buy this stuff, right? How much time do you spend working just for food and a shelter? Pretty much most of the time, right? So imagine that's no longer happening. You don't have to go to work because you don't have to buy food and you don't have to pay rent. And it was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with all this time? Eventually you don't even have to have sort of like a fridge because you don't have to have so much. And that was such a profound way of being, just to see that we don't have to eat, because we eat just to get some energy, right? We think that's going to sustain us. But what you don't know is that you can sustain yourself by different forms of energy, right? So love of God is an energy that one can retrain herself to just live on that. And and also because when you eat, you have to prepare it. You have to cook it. First you have to go and buy it. And before that, you have to make all the money to buy it. Then you have to eat it. Then you have to clean up. Then you have to assimilate it. You have to eliminate it. You have to cleanse yourself from it. And all this takes energy. So making money takes energy. Going shopping takes energy. Worrying about whether you're eating clean enough food takes a lot of energy. So all this energy is spent just on that eating stuff. So this is very similar actually, because suddenly, it says, imagine what would be like you have nothing to learn and nothing left to become, and really nothing to do. Because you don't have to do all these crazy things that you normally do as a human being, chasing this and that. And most of the sickness comes from overeating anyway. So that goes off your list and you become healthier. And so anyway, I just want to chip it in that we can be sustained by not resisting, because resisting love, resisting feelings, resisting situation is what takes energy out of us. So anyway, I think
that's pretty much the way they were back in ancient Lemuria. They didn't eat. They didn't. They tapped into the pure God source. So,
that's it.
But
and that's available now. We can do it.
I know, but
it takes a little bit of retraining, and it's incredible.
Okay, this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek little joke here, but I got $10 says if you take 10 of your hippie breatharian buddies and tell them to go build a house, they'd probably pass out after 2 days, because this is a generational concept, and you can do it now, and it's one thing to meditate and not eat anything and sit in the sun and lay in the grass and ground yourself, but if anything needs to be done in society and you got to expend some energy, you're going to have to intake some energy at this point in the evolutionary process. Like I said, it'll probably 2 or 3, 4 more generations you'll have people that'll do that. But right now it's anyway. Well, let me just finish on that one, because that was a time when all this began to happen, and then. I was sort of with an association of sort of Course in Miracles people, and then one day I just left, and I go, what am I going to do? And it's like, it was an incredible how everything got provided. Because the true abundance, which is also an incredible chapter in the Course of Love, it's like, everything was provided. Like someone said, well, why don't you go and stay in my property, And if you help me a little bit, I'll cook us a meal or whatever. And it was incredible how, sometimes we think we need a house, but you never know how your attuned feeling body will shelter you and will feed you, and if you need food and will provide what you need. Like, we'd be amazed how well, like the birds, they provided by everything. They don't go to work. So it's all the mindset, it's all the belief systems that hold us imprisoned in the limitations of our mind. Projecting lack and then trying to do our best to sort of fulfill it somehow by inappropriate means. Slavery and working hard and worrying about this and that and insurances, and oh my God, it's endless. Once you're in this world, you're in for a treat. Yeah, no doubt about it. The balance has been skewed for quite some time. Let me continue on here. Believe it or not, you will find these questions arise less and less until soon, and very soon they will be entirely gone, never to be asked again.
Yeah.
Why? Because now that you are being who you are in unity and relationship, these questions will make no sense to you. They already have far less power. Can you not feel it? The questions remain only as questions of the old patterns of thought, patterns that you need only be aware of before choosing to have them gone from you. This is the only choice you will still have to make, the choice to leave behind the old in order to be. You are in a relationship now only with love, and so nothing will be hard for you. Desire an old pattern to be gone, and it will be gone. This little note added to the end of our mountaintop time together is only here to help you realize and accept that this will be so. Do not expect difficulties, and they will not arise. You have returned to your true nature. Perhaps you will remember that within a course of love, you were once asked to imagine the ocean or the cheetah, the sun or the moon or God himself, attempting to learn what they are. They are the same as you. All exist within you. You are the universe itself. That's a powerful one. You are returned to your natural self, and as you begin to move more fully back into your life, you will realize where the difference between this natural self and your former self lie. You will realize that you know what to do. You will realize that there is no will be, that you are, and that you will respond as easily to a surrounding as does the cheetah to his. This little note is just included to tell you to expect this. Expect heaven on earth, you are told. And this is what it is. There will be no doubt, no indecision. Your path will be so clear to you, it will be as if the only path in the world, and you will wonder why you didn't see it all along. Expect this, and it will be. So be it.
Nice.
Yeah, this epilogue is, the whole thing is beautiful.
Oh, the whole thing is really, really beautiful. Yeah, that could be a nice one to record maybe as well.
I think...
because it's short, but it's so loaded. It's just so loaded with...
Yeah, I'll put it... I've got it. I'll put it up on the YouTube channel, just the epilogue.
Yeah.
And right after we post the podcast for this week, because it's only like
Nice.
four pages. So
Really
anyway,
is like that. That's the only thing I could read, and it was just so sustaining and so just relaxes you, just keeps reminding you, because that ego grip can be so strong on a cellular memory, and it just keeps reiterating the same thing over and over. Just relax, just relax. Find that effortless state of being there, where everything just provided, everything's given, and you are sustained by the love of God. All right, brother, shall we just bring that to a close?
sure. I'm going to make a couple of notes for next week. I posted a YouTube video about a book that Cole's friend had introduced him to, Anna, the Grandmother of Jesus. Another beautiful book, which also has a sequel. After Cole was introduced to it, he introduced me to it, and I posted saying that I am going to record it, or I am actually in the process of recording it now, about halfway done. It is a beautiful book, and part of the reason I've got this channel to begin with is to introduce people that don't have the time and the initiative to search through these thousands and thousands and thousands of books that are out there, to find the gold. And that's what we want to do. We want to introduce new readers to this book, and just like A Course of Love. So next week we're going to go and just give a really brief overview on Anna, the Grandmother of God, and a grandmother of Jesus. And then after that we will probably doing on the sequel. But thank you, Cole, for sharing that book that was shared with you. And no matter how much I dig, there's always nuggets of gold that I'm unfamiliar with. So thank everybody for sharing what you find with us, and hopefully you'll benefit from it too, because I will complete the audiobook and post it for a couple of weeks, give you a chance to download it. So any closing thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, I don't know. As we were doing this, I was thinking maybe we'll... You just said this is what we're going to do next week. But I was thinking it would be really nice to actually go through some of the Course in Miracle lessons. So I get a little bit more integrated in this Anna and the second book of Anna, The Voices of Magdalenas. I was thinking maybe we could just do one more episode on Course in Miracles and look at the lessons from that place to which they are pointing to.
Yeah, that's cool.
That would be also a really good episode. As we were reading these last parts, I was thinking, maybe we do that, and then we do the Anna, and by then I will be a little bit even more familiar with it. But one thing I want to say...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
One thing I want to say about Anna already as an amazing treat is it says Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, and just reading that really plugs me into this voice that she has and that she has to offer. It's not even what she says, but again, where she speaks from, where she introduces all these teachings, and how she birthed Jesus' mother, and it's just a absolutely beautiful place that this grandmother, it's more like very relaxed energy of introducing to all these different historical events and why they were and why they had to happen, and how it's just absolutely brilliant to tune into where she speaks from. And so very much looking forward to that chapter.
Yeah, one of the nice things about that book, or the resonance of that book, it's like I bring up with the Urantia book all the time. It just totally blows open your perspective.
Yeah.
This is a woman that lived 400 years. She had 12, 14 children, and it just, the stories that are intertwined and the relationships and the light conceptions and the archangels, it just, if you don't believe it, don't believe it. But like I said, these books will blow open the doors of your perception to give you a wider outlook of, what is possible. And you will feel it. I mean, if it doesn't resonate with you, put it away. Go turn on Netflix or something. But it resonates.
It's similar to Urantia book in a way, because it's rather than sort of questioning your beliefs, it just gives you like an option that you would couldn't expect to even be as a reality. Just gives you this incredible perspective, and that in itself dislodges the mind from its hold. Like, it's incredible how it works, how I often feel the essence of the book and what its actual purpose is. And it's not what we think it is, but what the feeling is behind it. And it's where she's coming from and how she introduces things that are so controversial is incredible, particularly when it goes into, Jesus' affairs and his kind of tantric life and things like that. It's just like, what?
don't spoil it.
Well, no, it's not a spoiler. It's the
teaser.
It's just a teaser. That's it. That's just a little teaser. And he goes into a detail. And it's like, whoa. And it does really remind me, that there is another way of being with another human being, particularly of opposite sex, and just where one can go when the Christ is born, and when this inner sanctum is leading you and guiding you every instant to a new ways of being and sharing with another human being. It's just absolutely exquisite. And those stories are exactly that.
And the analogy I always use when somebody has their spiritual conceptions, most people are coloring with a 6-color box of Crayola crayons. So, this story, and like the Urantia book, this is colored with a 64-pack super Crayola box with a built-in sharpener. I mean, that's right. how vast it is and colorful. I mean, you can only get so much of a sunset with 6 colors, but you use those 64 colors, it's just going to blow your mind. And after we do the first book and after we do the second book, and after we read them another dozen times, it's going to reveal layer upon layer upon layer of wisdom and truth. These are incredible books, and really looking forward to them.
This is what I like about you, Barry, because, it's like it's that love you have for books. Like when I told you about that book, and I just grasped it, it's just about like, like that thirst that's in you, from which you read, even when I heard your voice the first time, I was going like, oh my God, this guy is reading from a place that I just went like, who the is he? Like, I need to get to know this guy. And, just really beautiful to feel that, like your love for the books, it's what reeks between your words. It just reeks out. And no wonder your channel is getting like, 100 people, 100 new subscribers a day or something like that. Like we're going up to close to 100,000 people within what, a couple of years or something.
Well, I mean, it's people. It's not me. People are thirsty. I mean, they've never been so thirsty, and you see what's going on in the world. I mean, people need to find solace somewhere, and they can find a website that's got 20 million subscribers with Russian chicks with big boobs shooting machine guns, but that's not really going to give them any solace anywhere in life. So, the ones that look find us, and I call
your comparisons. Jesus Christ. Where do you dig this out, man? Like, where would you even go to the freaking Russian?
Well, it's colorful, yes.
It is. It's very colorful, man. I could travel into that realm.
Yeah. So I mean, I've even had some people, I got a friend that, they're my friend now, but I actually remember, and they get a lot of comments on the channel, and one person like 6 months ago wrote, this stuff doesn't make any sense, I'm unsubscribing. And then like 3 months later, they come back again, and they say, okay, I'm going to give you another chance. And then like 2 months later, I'm unsubscribing. And then they finally come back and they go, okay, I understand now, and I'm staying. So
yeah,
that's the thing. That's the subtlety of it. If we plant the seeds, and God bless you. You want to stay. If not, you'll be back eventually, and I know you will, because the truth resonates with you no matter where you are in the world. And what an incredible blessing to be able to share this material. And to have you on, and to have somebody that's so in depth with some of these traditions. I'm not speaking bad of anybody here, but there's a lot of people that walk around puffed up because they've been studying a path for 25 years, 30 years, 35 years, and We used to when I was in college, I took Japanese sword for 5 years, and we'd have seminars every year, and you'd see these guys walk in, maybe 50, 60 years old, all puffed up because they've been training for 25 years, And then my teacher would say, so you've been training for 25 years, or have you been training for 1 year 25 times? And
Right.
if you think about it, that's a vast difference. And a lot of people, unfortunately, in the spiritual game, they don't question, they don't dig, they accept what they've got, and they wear it as a shield of pride. So
Yes.
use some discernment when you follow people or listen to people, because there's really no reason to follow anybody. You have everything you need within yourself. It's a matter of depending upon whether you need a little trowel to dig it out or whether you need a backhoe to get through all the crap that's been on top of your Christ consciousness. So, okay,
Yes.
that's enough babbling for now.
Yeah,
Oh,
but just you start talking about something, it reminds me immediately because I was crazy about martial arts when I was a kid, and I had this teacher, and he said, Cole, master just one punch. I went, okay. Went home. I was like, I practiced, man, for years. Of course I practiced karate as whole, but I've just worked on this one punch. And one day, my God, something just came out of me, and this incredible punch came through. But it wasn't about the punch. It was about mastering one thing. Because once you learn how to master one thing, you can master anything. And next minute I'm playing guitar, I'm going like, oh, just master one tone. I was like, what? Okay, and then it just master one tone, and then it was like, comes the Course of Miracles. They're like, hey, master this. And it's once you learn how to master something, everything else turns into a true mastery. And I know it sounds like a bit of a self-inflating, but it's also it's a really incredible thing to know, just to how to full your whole, really what it is put your whole heart into something, and putting wholehearted, like I grasped this book, and I was like, I soaked it. It's like, so
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly. It's like A Course of Love. I've given it to I don't know how many people, and then a month later or 2 months later, somebody will write and go, "Yeah, I read it. Good book." And it says, now
Yeah.
now what do you got? And I said,
Yeah.
hey, you go back.
to it.
Yeah, you read it 25 more times until you breathe A Course of Love, and then your time to move on. And even if you have to move on after that, there's still something wrong. Go back and read it again. So this like A Course in Miracles, Course of Love, like I said 100 times, they're so multi-layered. You're picking up stuff now from A Course in Miracles, and you've been studying this for 25 years. You're picking up new stuff every day. And you're actually one of these students that actually studies and learns and lives it, not just reads it, puts it down, goes watch Netflix. You actually live the course. So for somebody like that to learn new aspects of a teaching after 25 years is just a perfect example of how deep that treatise is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it really is beautiful. I'm so glad we did this again, because we already done Course of Love once. It was like a mild introduction, and I'm glad we took up some more sections of this, and I'm very happy to go back to the Course in Miracles next week, and also look at some pearls, and just look at how those lessons are constructed to help us to dislodge our limitations, basically.
And it's nice. It's nice, like A Course in Miracles and Course of Love, that in regard to A Course in Miracles, the lessons are so small and bite-sized. In A Course of Love, I mean, people are so pressed for time now. People are so frenetic in their living that they need little bite-sized, like the a few moments with God that I do. They're a minute or 2 minutes long, but a thousand people listen to them every night.
Yeah,
And,
they're beautiful.
You need, you can't throw a textbook in front of somebody and say, assimilate this in 2 weeks. You need bite-sized chunks for people, especially now in this time.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I've watched some of her videos too, her, she's got like teachings, like 1 hour long teachings and she's also based on Course in Miracles, and I just love her energy, how she just goes into this movement, and I love that. I'm so happy
she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, promoting that. Beautiful. Okay, brother, we just can't shut up today, can we? And this
hour
is
and a
after
half.
You have how many books have you narrated today?
Yeah, I went for like 2.5 hours. It's I usually don't last more than an hour, but good stuff. Yeah. Anyway, okay, let's we'll do A Course in Miracles next week, and once again, thanks for everybody for giving us a listen. Cole, my friend, thank you for sharing the wit and wisdom that is so indicative of your life, and we will see everybody next week. Good night, everybody. Say good night, Cole.
Good night.